Kit has rubbed in with practice, but this is still going to be a difficult session for our drivers as they fight for pole position. Welcome to qualifying here in Azerbaijan. So then, Ant, it's another Grand Prix weekend, another exciting qualifying session ahead of us. What are you going to be looking out for over the next few minutes?
The first question is going to be who can avoid making mistakes. There isn't much margin for error in qualifying, and you have to bear in mind that the track conditions may have changed since practice, particularly as we've had a few support races in the meantime. If the brake bias settings, for example, don't take this into account, it's extremely easy to lock up a front wheel and cause a flat spot. Just like that, your lap's ruined, and you've wasted a set of tyres to boot.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to my Robert Kubica Career Mode on F1 2017. This weekend, we're at Baku for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix from the circuit I'm best at last weekend in Canada to the one I'm worst at here in Baku. Couple of things before we get going with qualifying. We have to take our 5th ICE here, which means we'll take a penalty and pretty much start at the back of the grid for the race. But all is not lost, because as you just saw there, we're going to push on with our engine development and get started with our 3rd engine upgrade to hopefully be in contention amongst the Mercedes runners later on in this season. Right into Q1 then. Baku as a circuit is pretty tricky to drive. I'm one of those drivers who thrives on momentum, and Baku is very start-stop. There is a long straight, 90-degree left, another long straight, another 90-degree left, sort of like that. So you can break this circuit up into loads of small sections, so momentum is very tricky to have here. Having said that, I haven't hit the wall in the castle section. Gonna be a pretty big area of concern this weekend. Gonna come across the line to finish our banker lap. It's been fairly clean. 1 minute 45.1. I think we're planning 3 runs in Q1 alone. And I actually screwed up pretty badly on the second run here because I made a mistake into a corner, abandoned the lap. I'm in lean mixture here, getting ready to go again, but I see Stroll coming through, so I slow down to let him pass and try to catch on to slipstream. It was a dumb idea, and I lost so much speed on the straight that even before I could get to turn 1, I lost like half a second and I had to abandon that lap. I've abandoned the next lap as well, so that was mad. And so this is our second and final qualifying, in Q1. We'll take a big lap here to get through to Q1. We're sitting P15 on the bubble. Even though we took that penalty and a fresh engine, we're actually using an older one here in qualifying so that we can keep the fresh one for the race. So I'll be pretty surprised if we even made it out of Q1. Hulkenberg is sitting P16, so if it ends like this, he'll miss out. We're going well though, over half a second gained on our banker lap time. Very tight into these corners and good on the brakes, and literally just leaving the straight line speed in God's hands. So we improved by a full second. It's a 1 minute 44, and that brings it up to P9. And at the end of Q1, looks like both Renault boys have made it out of Q1, with us in P12, Nico just scraping through in P15. So very good. Here we are at the start of Q2. Bit of a problem, electrical systems issue, so that delays us by 5 minutes, which means we'll only do 2 laps in Q2. Don't have any expectations here. I don't think we'll make it into the top 10 shootout, so in a way there's no pressure. Just chuck the car into these corners and see how it goes, essentially just take it as the laps go on. Coming into the final braking point on the lap here, looks like Bottas is fastest right now. We're 1.2 seconds slower than him. There's a nice flowing section here, I have to say. Imagine if we didn't have a shit engine in the back, this would be a pretty decent lap. We finished the lap here, 145 dead. So basically what we did in our first lap in Q1, if you remember, we did a 1 minute 44 on our second lap. So hopefully now if we can manage to replicate that, we could be in with a chance for top 10, but I'm still not sure. Gained almost 2.5-3 tenths into that castle section alone. So much more aggressive and fearless with turning into that tight turn. We're sitting P13 as it is, behind Stroll and ahead of Magnussen, and I don't think I don't see my teammate. He's either ahead of us or still sitting P15. But let's focus on our lap now. Final sector here, 6 tenths up, all or nothing. Actually, I don't even know why I'm bothering so much with this lap, because we're 10 place penalty, but we're gonna come across the line. It's P13, which effectively means P20, because with my engine penalty, so much work for nothing. but quite enjoyed that actually. A huge effort required in the race. Stay tuned because the Azerbaijan Grand Prix is coming up.
Anthony Davidson joins me today as we look ahead to something just a little bit different. It's quite high speed for a street circuit here, isn't it? Do you think that's going to throw up any unexpected situations?
Well, as long as the teams can keep everything cool, I don't foresee any particular big issues from a technical side of things. I do expect the track to be quite slippery though. We've not exactly had much chance to rubber in the surface. Any street circuit also comes with its own challenges, so I think we'll be seeing a few mistakes here and there. The smart strategy would be to expect a safety car, I think, especially early on when the pack is bunched up.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Raikkonen, Max Verstappen and Ricciardo, Perez, Ocon, Kvyat and Roman Grosjean, Massa, Stroll, Kevin Magnussen and Hulkenberg, Van Dorn, Ericsson, Pascal Wehrlein and Fernando Alonso. Sainz and a Renault rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Starting P20 and dead last on the grid. Any chance of points we'll find out as we go to 5 red lights and we're underway for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Alonso ahead of us had a poor start. We're going to draw alongside him. I want to be in the inside for the dive, so we'll do it without any sort of regard for Fernando Alonso's health and safety. Bit of contact there with Sauber there, Marcus Ericsson I think that was. And we're through already, looking to get past the other McLaren into the next corner, but Van Dorn holds it around the outside, but then that Honda engine gives up on him pretty much, so not much of a fight he can put up there. And that's us up into P15 onto the back of our teammate Nico Hulkenberg, who we out-qualified by the way, but we have to start from the back because of our penalty. Bit of a train formed here with me at the back, and I think that's Lance Stroll out in front. We're going to go through these slow speed corners, not very ideal to make overtakes, but that's not going to stop us, is it? We try a cheeky lunge into the corner there, trying to be ahead by the time we get to the castle section, but again nothing doing. We'll have to be patient so as to not make any hasty moves and get involved in incidents, at least not this early anyway. Looks like our chance could be on the long start finish straight, maybe even in this lap, or maybe if we manage to keep close onto the strain and do it on lap 3 with the DRS. We're going to come through to the final braking section here, come up to it now. We're going to get in Nico Hulkenberg's slipstream. We'll see how this goes. Pull to the right, he's going to squeeze us into the wall there at 200 kph, so thanks for that. Well, it looks like a fresh engine is coming in very handy here, because would you look at that quadruple overtake? Yep, quadruple overtake, and we're up into P11 from the back of the train to the front of the train in one move. Have it! Meanwhile, behind us, just after I overtaken them, 3 cars going into a corner, not gonna end well. Danny Rick has come out ahead. I mean, fair play. 3 wide into 1 corner there and no contact. Solid. As for us, a bit of a problem in all of this overtake madness. I didn't realize how much we'd fallen back from the other cars, because Grosjean ahead of us has pulled out a 5-second gap, and it's only lap 2. So now our objective is to buckle down and work on catching the Frenchman in the Haas car, and I do think we'll catch up to him in about 5 to 6 laps, because we're about a second quicker than him right now per lap. So we're gonna just keep plugging away at his lead is all we can do. I mean, hopefully by the time we get to lap 7 or something, as I said, we've already caught up by a second there. But as we move through to the next lap, on lap 4, yellow flags, there's a car going very slowly up in front. I can't really see who that is. As we come up to the corner, is Grosjean. It's Grosjean, the guy we were chasing down, has had a mechanical failure and is out of the race. DRS disabled, virtual safety car is out. We're up into the points, currently P10 behind Chani Kvyat. Tragic for Grosjean there, stopped on track. I mean, damn. Moving to the end of lap 4 then, virtual safety car period. That didn't last long. We're gonna start chasing after Kvyat now, just like we went after Grosjean earlier. Up ahead, it looks like both the Ferraris are fighting for position. on the start-finish straight. Raikkonen coming through side by side with Vettel, and that's Kimi Raikkonen ahead of Seb Vettel with the help of DRS, and the order now is Valtteri Bottas leading the race from Kimi Raikkonen, Sebastian Vettel, and that's Lewis Hamilton down in P4. Looks like Kimi has woken up, and speaking about people waking up, my teammate Nico Hülkenberg is all over the back of Daniel Ricciardo, moves just like Kimi did. Does he have the legs on the Red Bull though? Looks like he does. Fair play. As for us, we're chasing Gianni Kvyat in his Toro Rosso, and we're quicker than him by a mile, because as you see, by 3 laps time we've already caught up to the back of him, and on lap 7 we are within 2 car lengths of him. So we're gonna try and see where we can make this move. He locks up, he's gonna make us go side by side into that castle section. That's not gonna happen. That's a definite crash waiting to happen there. So we actually let him past and slot back behind him and see where this goes. Possibly have to make this move into the start-finish straight. Easiest place for it with DRS. Looks like this could be a pretty easy move. Get the DRS in the slipstream, go to the right, but he looks like he's coming in. That's interesting. It's lap 8, so that's a very early pit stop for Danny Kvyat and for my teammate Nico Hülkenberg. But this is lap 9. I don't think it's time for a change onto another set of tires yet, because my tires are fine. I don't see why they came in so early. And as for us, we have a problem. Lewis Hamilton is all over our back. Of course, he's made his pit stop. He's on to a second set of super softs, and this has happened a few times now, like the 3rd or 4th race this is happening. Mercedes, this is one for the Mercedes strategists, I think, because they always release Hamilton behind me, and I don't let him past. Interestingly, there on the start-finish straight, even with DRS, he can't catch up. So is that something? Is that Lewis Hamilton running with a weaker engine, or is that just how good our engine upgrades are coming through? I don't know. By lap 10, we are looking like we're losing some grip on the tires, so in a lap or two it could be time for us to come in. We could have extended that stint maybe on to lap 14, but doesn't look like it, especially not with us fighting with Hamilton like we are. But just look at us in a Renault, just irritating the life out of Lewis Hamilton. This way, this corner we let him pass. We try, and it's not even us letting him past, he gets past, but that was us trying a little switchback move, going slow and fast out. Didn't work, but anyway, that is Lewis Hamilton through. Don't think we're gonna see him again. On to lap 12 now. Looks like our tires are definitely going. We're gonna box this lap, and we're gonna go on to another set of super softs as well. I like what Hamilton did there, so we're gonna try and copy what he did. With P5 now, we're gonna come in for this set of super softs, and we've come out behind Kvyat. So essentially we haven't really overtaken him. Remember, we were about to when he came into the pits on lap 8. Kvyat's on mediums, and the reason I'm on super softs and on softs is because there's rain coming, and it's coming pretty soon. Looking back, I should have probably started on softs and done my first stop onto inters when the rain hit, but now, as I said, the rain's coming soon, so I can max out on these tires and don't have to worry about a longer lasting set. And this is helping me, as I have caught on to the back of this group already, get the DRS. I'm going to overtake both of them, the McLaren pits, and that was quite easy. And we're back up ahead of Kvyat onto lap 13. But cut to lap 14 here. The rain is definitely coming down. Look, even on your screen there. So I made a big mistake here. I knew the rain was coming early, but not this early. If I'd known that, I'd have stayed out on my starting set. Now we've just used up these new super soft set for about 3 laps, and it's time to change to inters already. Order up front is Kimi from Vettel, then Bottas, but Hamilton is about to make a blunder here. It's already raining. I thought he was being proactive with the switch on to inters, but he's gone on to another set of slicks, so onto softs. Wow, what a fool. As for us, on the same lap, I think it's time for inters. I'm hoping this will benefit me. An early switch onto inters. I'm one of the first to do it. We actually have to slow down earlier to let Magnussen through because he was on our inside. That's annoying. But we're gonna go on to this set of inters and come out. I think that's Alonso there. Come out side by side with the McLaren. Fernando Alonso still looks like he's on softs. He's gonna keep it ahead of us, but then look at that. He's still on slicks, and it's quite clearly time for inters. We're so much faster than him instantly, and that is us back up past Alonso. And now, as you watch me try to drive Baku on inters, let me just say I am sorry. I am just so sorry for what you're seeing. This was a dreadful stint that I drove, probably the worst I've driven all season, because I can just feel I'm cringing at I'm looking at the footage here and I'm just cringing at every corner that I'm taking. It's just so bad. Teammates in the pits, but I know I'm not gonna catch him because look at that, just sliding all over the place. We're leaking so much time as we come across to start lap 17. We passed Kvyat, I think. Yeah, we passed Kvyat, but Magnussen is through somehow. I don't know how that's happened, but again, look, just going so deep into these corners. Every corner here is just seconds lost, not even half a second or 10 seconds lost. Anyway, on to lap 19. My engineer is asking for a change in strategy, which usually means that it's time for dries again. That was a short stint on the intermediate tires, but I don't know, didn't think that I could stay on the dries and do it. But anyway, Hulkenberg is gonna pit first. We're gonna have to double stack. Hopefully my team are ready for me. Hulkenberg's gone on to a set of super softs. We're gonna go on to softs. They're just about ready as we get the car stopped. Move out of the pits. What's going on? What is going on? Oh my god. Could this race have gotten any worse? Well, it's just done. It's just done. What was that pit stop? The clutch just wouldn't work. This happened, I think it's happened in Bahrain or something. And now it's happened again. And we leaked 2 more places. We're down to P14. P12 was where we were. And now we're P14. We've leaked places to Ricciardo and whoever else that was. I mean, it's just a disaster. And now all we have to look forward to is maybe winning back our P12 position, because all chances of scoring points are definitely out the window. Also, having said that, I sense an opportunity here. Wehrlein is Sauber still on dry tires, holding Ricciardo up a lot. So if we can sneak in, maybe get past the Red Bull and then try our best to defend position. Ricciardo is past Wehrlein and now we follow him through. Get in the slipstream, maybe dive down. Nope, he cuts us off. So we'll go again and try it into this next corner. Again, nothing doing. And when we get to that straight there, just look at the pace on that Red Bull. He's gone. That's warp speed, and that's just so disappointing. You know, on lap 21, they're gone. Both of them. Look, what was that? 2, maybe maximum 3 laps later, and Ricciardo is 3 seconds ahead. So that's just horrible. That I have no race pace on these super softs. I mean, on the soft tires, and I'm just lonely. Like, I'm Mr. Lonely. I have nobody. That's Akon. Never mind. My only hope here is in this dying stages, if Ricciardo catches Kvyat and maybe passes him in a difficult tight corner, that slows them both down and maybe brings me into the fight, then maybe I can catch at least Kvyat. But of course not. Why would the Red Bull family help me? You know. Ricciardo completes an easy DRS pass on the start-finish straight. Absolutely no problem for Kvyat. He'll still be 5 seconds ahead of me, and we'll be left 5 seconds behind. So just sums up our race, doesn't it? Every little thing that could go wrong has gone wrong. And up ahead, Kimi Raikkonen is going to come through to the last sector of the last lap. He's been dominant throughout the race through the dynamic weather conditions, and Raikkonen wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, his first win of the season. I believe it's usually Vettel doing the winning for Ferrari, but today he's going to have to settle for P2, and that's Valtteri Bottas going to round off the podium for Mercedes, saving grace after Hamilton's strategy fail. As for us, We're gonna weave through to the line quite dramatically. It's been poor, it's been unlucky. It's gonna be P12 as we finish out of the points for the first time since Russia, I believe. That's just poor.
So, another excellent win from Ferrari. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
Well, I'd say it's just raw pace, plain and simple. I mean, we could sit here and talk about strategy all day, the overtaking, looking after the tyres, but at the end of it all, if you want to win, you need a package that's got the speed over everyone else, and that's exactly what they had today.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium, and as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari.
So there you have it. Well done, Baku. I think not. I mean, I can only apologize for those 5-ish laps I drove in the rain. That and the delayed pit stop just ruined our race, but what can you do? I came into this race expecting not to score points, but in that first stint, pace was very good, and now I'm pissed off that I didn't score any points. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next race at Austria. Jan Barpe.